Welcome to the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, coming live from London, UK. My name is Davros, and beside me I have
Alison.
That's right, Alison. And today our topic is on women and their spiritual connection. Well, seeing as though we're talking about women, I thought it would be befitting to have a woman beside me. So I have a very strong, powerful woman beside me. And her name is Alison. So, Alison, women and their spiritual connection with the God of Israel. There's so many powerful women or great examples of women in the doctrine, and so many prominent figures that we can take from as Israelite people.
Yeah.
Even as a man, I can learn from the women of old. So, Alison, any women in the nation or any women in the scriptures that comes to mind that?
There's quite a few women actually that spring to my mind, and one in particular, I will probably turn to it, but it's the story of Samson and his mother.
Okay, that's a great one.
We know that from the story, without even going to the scriptures, that in order for the angel to go in and treat of her, actually to speak to her, she would have had to have been spiritually receptive, had that relationship with the God of Israel. We know that.
Hold on. So let's talk about this spiritual receptiveness, because in the nation over here, there's many debates, right? And I'm a sucker for a debate. And one of the debates that we usually have is basically about whether men are more spiritual than women, or are women more spiritual than men? So you mentioned the word spiritually receptive.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be spiritually receptive?
Okay, so for example, many of you that may be watching us now may be wondering why my head is covered.
Why is your head covered?
Why isn't your head covered?
That's a good question. Why isn't my head covered? Should I be covering my head?
Well, I know from the scriptures that you shouldn't be, but let me explain to you first of all why my head is covered.
Right.
First of all, there are many attributes. It's a sign of humility. It's a sign of modesty. It's also an instruction that was given to me, which we will touch on in a moment.
Right. Okay.
In terms of me being receptive, I wear this to protect myself in the sense that when I talk about the receptiveness, I mean like it's almost like a beacon. It has flashing lights, like a lighthouse, for example. And like for the spiritual side, for spirits per se, it attracts good or bad spirits. So for me, covering my head is actually a form of protection. Right. And not only that, Davros, I wear this because it lets my brethren know that I am clean.
Okay, that's it. Right. See, so can we break it down one by one? So you said you cover your hair or your head as a sign of modesty and humility.
Right.
So I guess is that pertaining to like some kind of hierarchy where?
Oh, absolutely.
The man was made in the image and likeness of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
Right, absolutely. But let me just add to that.
Yeah.
We already know that in Genesis 2 that, of course we know that God created the earth and so forth in 6 days. Well, within 6 days, and on the sixth day that he created man. But also, after he created man, we know that he caused man to sleep. And whilst man was asleep, he removed one of his ribs, and from that rib, he created a woman. Now, we know that, the scriptures tell us that, because woman came from man, hence woman, and not only that, it also speculates that for this reason alone, that the male must leave his mother and his father, and he should cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one. So, it also talks about them being one flesh, but I also know within the scriptures that there is a natural order to things. I know that there is the God of Israel, there's Christ. I know that there's man, and then there's woman. So there is a hierarchy. However, it is really, we as women, we do need to know our place in that order, but it's also a mutual thing, a mutual respect, mutual appreciation.
Right.
So when I talk about the spirituality and our connection, yes, certain things happened in the days of old, like in the Garden of Eden.
Hold on. You know what it is? I just had some flashbacks,
Okay.
right? I could hear the women screaming. What do you mean women should know their place? Like, what do you mean a woman should know their place? Because there's no sexism in the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. We're not a sexist organization, but we are an organization of truth, and we are an organization of doing what is required of us to do in terms of serving our true and living God. So when we speak about the woman's modesty and the woman's humility, and you said the woman's place, I guess you're speaking in regards to the order of creation. Like for example, the man was first, was made, Adam was made, and then from Adam came the woman. And as a sign of respect of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, the woman, is it like lowers herself, or how would you put it in order for the viewers to understand?
Okay, so how I would convey that is, so we, as you understand, man was made first. Man was made for God, not for God, but made by God. And we know that the woman was created for man. So there is an order. Of course there is. Yes, we are all children of God. We know this, because that's another argument that everyone will say. But there, if we were supposed to be equal in that respect.
When you say we're all children of God, you're talking about the Israelites.
Of course, just the Israelites. Let's not get it confused.
Let's not get that
confused. We are from the Israelite nation, so let's just let's teach and preach our people. Amen. Amen. All right, so where was I, Deborah?
So you was explaining in regards to the hierarchy.
Yes. So with regards to the hierarchy, yes, again, just to reiterate, we know that God created man. From man, he created woman, but he created woman for man. Do you understand? Right. So there's a distinction.
Right.
He didn't create man and woman at the same time.
So
also, when he created the beasts and the fowls of the air and all that, he didn't create just one thing, he created both sexes, I would imagine.
I agree. No, totally.
But with man, he only created man, that's it. And when he saw that man needed a helpmeet, then he
created the woman.
All right.
So both man and woman, I guess it's our job, or our purpose, really and truly, is to serve the greater good, which is the God of Israel.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay, should we turn to the scripture then? Should we go to Corinthians chapter 11 and start with that?
We can do, but before we get there, I think we should go to Ephesians, because then it kind of supports what I literally just said about the order of things.
Sure. Okay. Which Ephesians?
It's Ephesians 5, and
Ephesians 5.
Is verses from verse 25.
Do you want to read it? You want to read it?
Okay, I'll read it, and you can cut in as I went.
Go ahead.
All right. So it says, let me have a. Okay, so it is saying. Okay, so it literally says, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. So again, it's reiterating the importance that we have to have that mutual balance, that respect for each other, okay? But then it goes on to say that wives, that we should submit ourselves unto our husbands as unto the Lord.
Okay, so can I stop you there?
Absolutely.
So again, this scripture always seems to cause a stir amongst the brethren.
Get some men.
Right? It says, wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. So that word submission, to submit, it's a very forceful word. It means to completely give.
Yeah. Surrender yourself even.
It means to surrender yourself even. So I don't look at the woman in a sense of her purpose is just to do
your bidding.
My bidding, my exact will. Yeah. But I understand this scripture is like a generalization of how a man and woman should interact in terms of coming together and forming some kind of partnership and relationship. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Okay.
I'll agree with that. Do you want me to
read? Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so So wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife,
Okay.
even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the saviour of the body.
So it says, for the husband is the head of the wife,
Head of the wife,
even as Christ is the head of the church.
the head of the church.
So the church being the saints in Israel, the
Right.
saints of Israel, the people, the Israelite people,
Okay.
they're the church.
Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely, yeah.
So Christ, the begotten Son of God,
Mhm.
is the head of the Israelite nation,
Right.
right? Or is the head of the church.
Yeah.
And therefore, that analogy, you would agree, is similar in regards to a husband and wife, or would you just look at it as a comparison, or would you literally take that literal?
I might do.
You might do.
Might do. But that's
Okay.
only because, the words that are written in the book, I need to digest them, I have to live by it. I'm an Israelite, so, if those are the instructions, then I need to not really be so going against it. I need to go with it.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. Okay.
I mean, unless you have another perspective.
No, I totally agree.
All right, so then shall we now move on?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. So therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, we women have to be subject ourselves to our men, submit ourselves to our men
Right.
in all ways. But then it goes on to say, interestingly, that husbands love your wives.
Okay. So this is a key prominent part. This is probably an important part, because what will happen is, I guess some men might just read the first few verses
True.
and ignore that last bit what you just read, which is
Husbands love your wives.
equally.
Right.
Husbands love your wife. Which means if I love myself, and I know you love
sure
yourself.
You do.
Well, we all love ourselves, right? But I have to also love my wife
Absolutely.
like I love myself.
Absolutely,
Right?
and the scriptures say that. They actually indicate that.
So I cannot really abuse my wife or mistreat her or ill-treat her.
That's correct.
Because then I'll be like ill-treating myself. Is that correct? Yeah. So
no, absolutely. I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. Like, in order for you to love, you have to be able to love yourself. But like you so nicely said, if we have a partner, we need to love our partner as we love ourselves.
right. Okay.
And we being Israelites, how could you mistreat your brethren at the end of the day?
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay, so husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spots or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
Right.
So ought men to love their wives, as he said, as their own bodies.
Right.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
Right.
So, I mean, we could go on
Powerful
a bit more.
words,
We could go on
powerful
a bit more, but just to reiterate, it's just letting you know, even though we are created differently, we still have to love ourselves equally. There has to be a balance. Like, just because you were created before me doesn't mean that I should be treated less. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Right.
Because we're all God's creatures per se.
Okay, great. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm not a creature, but you might be.
I don't agree with that. But great. That I think that's well broken down and well explained.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's turn to Corinthians and let's talk about their head covering.
Okay.
Because we mentioned about the spiritual receptiveness
Absolutely.
and the power of a woman. Okay, let's talk about cultural aspects as to why the Israelite women cover their heads or cover their hair.
Yeah.
Right. So again, Corinthians chapter 11, from the first verse.
Okay.
You gonna read? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so it reads, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances, the law, statutes, and commandments, as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ,
Okay.
and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God."
Okay, so there seems to be again a similar pattern.
Yes.
Right. Nothing seems to be different.
No.
It seems to be the same thing.
Yeah.
You have the God of Israel.
Absolutely.
You have his begotten Son, the Christ,
Yep.
who's above man,
Mhm.
and then you have man
Who's
above woman. Should we say that again?
Okay.
You have the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
Yeah.
You have his begotten Son,
The Christ. Okay.
the Christ.
Then we have
Then you have the man
who is above the
who is above the woman.
unfortunate woman.
Right.
The woman.
So again, this is just order of
Just the order of things, isn't it?
order of things.
Just
Order
just
of
how
order
it
of
is.
order of how it should be, or how it is, how
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Right?
And who are we to question?
Right. Doesn't mean the woman is any less entity to the man, because without a woman there will be no man,
Absolutely.
and without a man there will be no woman.
True.
Okay. God, can't believe I just said that on camera.
You heard this first at the Israelite Nation.
That's
Now,
right.
Ministries.
That's right. But okay, great. So
Right then, so okay, so let's read on. Okay, so I'm not even going to read that one again. So verse 4 it reads, now every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoureth his head.
okay.
Now I like the fact that
Yeah.
that your head isn't covered.
Okay, so right, my head is not covered. So if I was praying, or if I was in the presence of the altar, or prophesying, I shouldn't cover my head.
That's right.
Okay, why would you think the man shouldn't cover his head? Because the reason why I say these things, right, is in many other establishments. So we can talk about
True.
the Catholic churches.
Absolutely.
Or the Catholic shrines, or we can talk about Khazars, also known aka Jewish people, or even Muslims. And we're not here to bash any philosophies or any other types of organizations. We're just showing a difference. So all those organizations, their men cover their heads when they're doing some kind of prayer or worship or service.
Or even when they're talking in tongues.
Or any kind of strange talking in tongues. Our men, the Israelite men, the men of the God of Israel, we've been instructed, or we do not cover our heads.
That's right.
Right? When we're praying or worshipping or prophesying or anything like that. Why do you think that is the case? Is it simply, again, out of the respect of the hierarchy, which was aforementioned, God, Christ, man, woman?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, I mean, we don't even really need to go there, but before Christ came in, well, you know, before the part of the law was fulfilled, you know, in the book, in the Bible, there were people, they were actual men that were covering their head and performing certain services for the God of Israel.
You're talking about the sons of Aaron.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a very interesting point. So the sons of Aaron, during that time, that order, the Mosaic law, the order of that type, those priests covered their heads.
And they were instructed to.
But they were instructed to.
Absolutely.
And they only did it at specific times when they were going in to certain parts of the temple or the inner courts. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess in that time they were acting almost, I wouldn't say, almost like the bride, I guess. Almost taking the role.
Absolutely. And I 100% agree with you, because
humility, modesty.
Exactly. And women were, women at that time, well, not even at that time, just in general, it's not a woman's place to be going into the inner courts and dealing with those kind of things, because women have issues, so to speak. So,
And when you say issue, let's be clear.
So when I talk about issues, I'm talking about, again, if I was
the monthly cycles.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
For one of the better.
The monthly cycles, and which according to the laws would make the woman unclean.
Right.
Okay.
So clearly, because I have this head covering, it's quite evident that I am clean. Hence why I'm here. I'm teaching. It's okay. It's not an issue. Although when we read further, you will see that there are certain things I shouldn't do. But
okay, so that's an interesting point, Alison. I'm so glad you're here, Alison. See, it's good to get these points come across so passionately from a woman's point of view. So another reason or another indication of you covering your hair is you're basically telling the men around about you that you are in a clean state.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So,
Okay.
it's a form of, it's like identity. And well, not a form of my identity, but yeah, that if I'm wearing a head tie, I'm clean. Simple as.
Okay.
But not obviously, but we see out there with so many women from so many different denominations, or not even denominations, philosophies, covering their heads. Why are they covering it? Are they telling me that they're clean every day? And even so, why are they wearing their head? Why is their head covered? I'm pretty sure that those instructions were not given to them. I understand why I wear a head tie. We Israelite women at the Israelite nation, we know why we wear a head tie.
But isn't it ironic? Isn't it so ironic? So this is why I love the Israelite nation. It's so ironic that all these other so-called holy establishments, right? Their men cover their heads, and I know I was speaking to I have a Muslim friend, and he was telling me one of the reasons why they cover their heads is a sign of humility and a sign of modesty.
Yeah.
I think I've got a Jewish friend, Khazar, and he also said to me, I said, well, why did you cover your head? And he said to me, the reason why I cover my head is because it reminds me that there's a God above me.
Okay, that's interesting.
Right? But it is interesting.
It is interesting.
But again, it's contrary to what we do.
Yeah.
We, being made in the image of God, do not cover our heads.
True.
But the woman who's made from man covers their heads.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a lot of differences, I would say, between what we do and what other nations do. And then, as you mentioned, the women in those other establishments, they also cover their heads.
They do.
But they cover their heads
for totally different reasons.
Everywhere they go, and for totally different reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
It's interesting.
That's true.
It's interesting. All right, let's continue reading, but that's interesting.
Okay, yeah, you can always go back to that. But also, please remind me that I want to give further clarity on why we women have to wear a headset. Not necessarily have to. Obviously, it's going to come out through hair anyways.
Yes.
But I just want to relate it back to Eve because I have to go back to Eve. So remind me that later.
We'll do.
But okay, let's read on. Okay, so verse 4, it says that every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoureth his head.
So dishonoureth means shame, basically, right? Yeah. Shames his head. Yeah. Shames himself.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Shame on you who are out there in your shrines wearing a head covering, you men, shame on you. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoureth her head, for that is even all one as if she were shaven.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's like basically saying a woman who enters a place of service, place of worship, prays or prophesies or does anything of that manner.
With her head uncovered.
It's almost like she's acting like a man, because it's almost like saying you have no hair, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. Part of a woman's beauty is her hair.
This is very true.
I mean, I'm not really one to make much comments about hair, but
indeed. Positively challenged.
Right.
Anyways, but let's read on. So verse 6, for if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered.
Okay, right. So if a woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. It's a shameful thing.
Basically.
But it's not talking about being covered all the time. No, it's talking about being covered at specific times.
Exactly.
Specific times. Worshipping, praying in service amongst holy time, we can say.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I see how it all ties in.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you? Verse 7?
Yeah. So, so for a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory interestingly, of the man.
Okay, and I think you spoke about that.
Yeah, I think we pretty much wrapped that up.
Okay.
But I mean, it does go on further, for it says, "For the man is not of the woman, but the woman is of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
Okay.
Now, for this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels."
Wow, okay. So it seems like, because you said remind you about the story of Adam and Eve.
Okay, so without going too much into it, now for me, this is what I get from that scripture. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. In the fact that there's so much emphasis on us having to wear head ties. Again, our topic is about women and the spiritual connection. So so when I think of Eve, I think of the fact that Adam was created first. Eve, as you know, she was created from Adam, but then those of you who are familiar with the story in the Garden of Eden, you will know that they were given instructions. There were certain trees in the garden that they weren't supposed to approach. Now, those of you who know the story, I mean, this isn't the time to go into that story, but you will understand that Adam was created first, so he is like the original. Eve is a carbon copy. She was the one that got beguiled, and I am pretty certain that she didn't have a head tie on because they were literally just created. So for me, in terms of because she.
Okay, wait. So wait. I think that's a lot of information you've given the public. So Adam was a carbon copy.
No, he was the original.
He was the original.
Yeah.
The original of what? Of the original man?
Yeah. Well, he was made in his image, in the image and likeness of God. We know that Adam was put to sleep.
Which was the original man, the first man, right?
The original man, yeah. We know that he was put to sleep, and then not obviously, I hate to use that word. He was caused to sleep. The rib was taken out.
Hence, you have the woman.
Absolutely. So now she is, God didn't say, okay, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to separate the waters and the lands and call the fowls and the beasts and all of these things and create man and create woman. So it's quite evident that this is how he created man in a unique way. Right. I'm not saying that he didn't create women in a unique way. Hence, we have different attributes. But at the end of the day, we were created through men.
Okay.
So when I go to the fact that in terms of us, in terms of women having to protect their receptiveness, Eve didn't have the opportunity to protect that.
Okay,
like that too much.
Whoa, wait. Okay, so let's get to that. Let's get to it because it's going to go back to the original debate.
Okay.
On whether are women more spiritually receptive than men. So Adam was he was given the instructions of all the trees you can eat from, but from the tree of good and evil.
That's right.
Tree of knowledge you cannot eat from. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And as you said, Adam looked like the creator. He looked exactly like the God of Israel.
That's right.
Right? So it would have been very daunting and probably very intimidating for the serpent to try. I'm not saying he didn't try and tempt Adam, but according to
the scriptures,
we don't really know, but we know who he did go.
Exactly.
To.
That's true. That's very true.
He ended up going to the woman
and beguiled her.
Yeah. Now, would you say it's because the woman possibly is more spiritually open or receptive into receiving things
I would have to say so.
Okay.
Because, I mean, like, for want of a better definition, there's an expression that people are hard-headed.
Right, okay.
Right, and maybe, I'm not saying that Adam's not spiritually receptive, I'm not saying that, but the fact that, Eve was, not saying that it was easy for her to be beguiled, but, she...
Would you agree that it was probably easier
to go
for
through
the serpent to go
absolutely,
through to the woman.
absolutely. I'm guessing that Adam, he would probably be a little bit more. I know it's really, I should make no assumptions, but it's like again, like back to the carbon copy kind of, well, not carbon copy, but imagine you get an original and you run it through the photocopier.
Yes.
It's gonna it loses its strength.
I like this. Yes.
It's not so
yes.
It's not an original copy. In fact,
every time it gets copied,
now,
it's less and less and less.
Like even now, if I was to run this through the photocopier, these highlighters would get less yellow.
Yes.
So it's not going to be as strong as
the original.
Absolutely. So why not go for the lesser vessel per se?
Okay.
I don't know.
So the spirituality. So in a sense, you covering your hair or head is, because I remember you mentioning this earlier.
Okay.
Is like you're enhancing your focus.
Yeah.
And you use the word beacon.
Yeah.
And I guess if we're in a setting which is of God, you're allowing that spirit.
True.
The spirit, the comforter.
Yeah, and those good spirits all around you. And that kind of setting.
In that setting, you're allowing that to be with your focus.
Yeah.
If you weren't to cover your head or your hair, are you saying it's a possibility that you're now opening up yourself
absolutely
to all types of different
entities
spirits.
Per se? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Hence why we have to. Hence why when there's a when there's a spiritual occasion or event or something, or we are as women we're praying or we're prophesying and we're clean, we need to ensure that our heads are covered. We don't want to be entertaining anything that is not of a good spirit.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. I like that actually. So this is all about protection. So you covering your head is all about protection and you making sure that you're staying focused with what you need to be doing in regards to serving the God of Israel.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So.
Oh, and you know what? Just to add before we go back to we continue with the scripture. Remember, like we were just talking about the head being a beacon, being like a lighthouse. Being able to if it's not properly attired, you can attract all sorts here. Remember, right? It's not like it's unheard of. We know that in Job, that Lucifer walked around with all the saints.
Right.
So you don't know what you're attracting. You need to protect yourself.
Okay. So you've put a completely new spin on the whole covering of the head.
Yeah.
Love it. I absolutely love this. Okay, great. Let's get some examples of some more strong spiritual women and their connection with the God of Israel. Should we talk about?
Okay, so we can stick a pin in that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we turn to Judges? Talk about Samson.
Yeah.
And his mother and father.
Yeah.
So what's that? Judges 13.
Yeah.
Read from the second verse.
Yes. Okay. Right. So, actually, I might just go from the beginning. All right. So we're going to look at women that are spiritually receptive, and had they not been, or they weren't, walking righteously per se, maybe they wouldn't be able to be in tune with this type of receptiveness. So. We're going to look at, as Davos has just said, we're going to go to Judges and we're going to look at Samson's mother. From the very, very first verse, I'm going to read, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines for 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah. And his wife was barren and bare not.
So barren meaning she couldn't bear children, or
correct.
She hasn't.
She just could not conceive.
Could not conceive.
Yeah, so she's got no children. She's not able to have any children.
Okay.
So, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman. Now,
he didn't go to the man.
No, he didn't go to the man. Now, remember, she's, from the beginning, there was a certain man of Zorah of the family of. So they've already identified who this man is, whose name was Manoah. Okay, I'm not going to say that they go further and mention the name of the woman, but the fact here is that the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman.
Right.
Okay, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. So the angels now, he's appeared unto the wife of Manoah, and he said unto her, I know that you're barren, and that you're not able to have any children, but you will conceive, and you will have a son. And then he goes on to give her further instructions.
You know what's interesting? You know what I like about this as well?
Okay.
There always seems to be a pattern. The woman is barren.
That is so true.
And then the God of Israel shows his might.
Absolutely.
And makes her that she's able to conceive. But I guess what we're going with now is the connection between the God of Israel and the woman and her spirituality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the angel of the Lord didn't go to Manoah.
No.
The angel of the Lord went to the woman, his wife.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so where are we? Verse 4?
We are. Now, okay, so now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine, nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing.
Okay, so again, this is now part of our culture.
That's correct.
So when our women are with child, they do not eat or drink.
That's correct.
Anything of the fruit of the vine,
That's correct.
strong drink, wine. It doesn't say grapes, but I will go with grapes and vinegar, etc., etc. And it says also, and eat not any unclean thing.
That's correct.
We weren't supposed to eat unclean things anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm guessing there may have been times where people might have slipped, right? But this is an instruction. Definitely, whatever, make sure you do not consume these things, right? Why do you think he went to the woman and gave her these instructions as opposed to giving it to the man? Is it would you say it's simply because she's going to be the one carrying the child, or?
It's possible, but then there are examples in the Bible where the angel of the Lord appears unto a man and the man disbelieves. So I guess it's all circumstantial. Yes, you're right.
That's a very important point. So you said there's been examples of the angel of the Lord going on to the man.
Yeah. And giving him a message.
And the
men, in fact, there's quite a few actually.
And the men have disbelief.
Yeah, they disbelieve. But it just seems to me that whenever they, I'm not trying to say that women listen more. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that when an angel appears onto a woman, the message is received loud and clear. Is it that we're more spiritually receptive? Are we more, do we have I'm not saying we have a better connection, because that would be very unfair and unjust for me to say that. But I can only tell you what I find in the scriptures, and I know from the scriptures that the angel of the Lord has appeared to men and they have disbelieved, whereas a woman, she will entertain it.
Okay, and Alice, I think that's a great point, because I think even the word spiritually receptive in itself, it doesn't mean that the man isn't spiritual or cannot receive a message. I'm guessing. Well, I'm not guessing. I'm going to add to what you're saying. I believe what you're indicating is that the woman, not only it's more easier for her to accept messages and listen and tune into the spirit, whereas a man may not have the same kind of, he might not be as occupied. He might be too occupied.
Yeah, he might not be so open-minded.
He might not be so open-minded. Yeah. He might have other things on his mind.
Yeah.
Mind you,
True.
If you do get a man who's focused,
True.
And we should be focused because we worship God in spirit and truth,
that's right.
Then we also, I guess, can have the same kind of connection.
True.
But I understand what you're saying. The woman just seems to a good woman, a good Israelite woman, I should say, because I have to add that because most of the mediums are women.
Yeah.
Most of the witches.
Yeah.
Are women.
True.
Card readers, clairvoyants, and
them
palm readers are women.
They are. I wonder why that is actually
clearly because of their receptiveness.
Exactly.
They're spiritually receptive. Now, what are they tuning into?
Exactly.
So it can be good.
It can be good.
But it also, conversely, could be negative.
It all depends on what you're trying to entertain in the first place.
And what are you entertaining?
I mean, okay, I've got my head tied on, but I'm not trying to conjure up somebody from who's died or anything like that, or
Absolutely.
trying to get some type of dialogue with a family member.
Familiar spirits. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But that's what they do. So it's like.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. So the instructions were given that this woman was not to drink of any strong drink or any type of unclean food. Okay, verse 5.
Okay, so for lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb.
Nazarite.
Interesting. Yeah. See, it's just fortunate that the word Nazarite is there, because some could question, well, oh no, we didn't even cover that. We'll get to it in First. We have to go back to 1 Corinthians because it talks about men and their hair.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Good.
So
good point.
we'll slide
go
down
back to that.
Yeah.
I'll put a pin on that.
Yes. So let's read again. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband now. So now she's the angel of the Lord has appeared unto her. He's told her, I know you weren't able to conceive or bear any children. I'm telling you here today, you will conceive, you're going to bear a son. You're going to abstain from anything from the vine. You're to eat no unclean thing, and you will not put a razor to your son's head, because
he shall be a Nazarite.
Right.
Nazarites,
so it's giving her all of these instructions.
Nazarites are special Israelites that have made a vow throughout their day that they will not drink anything.
That's right.
Made out of vinegar or strong drink or wine,
and
they will not put a razor to their hair. Interesting.
Interesting, because you see a lot of Rastafarians, and they've got some nice little haircuts.
Very nice little haircuts.
Nice little locks at the front.
Very nice little locks at the front. And I've heard Rastafarians call themselves Nazarites or something along those lines. Right. But unless you make a vow unto the God of Israel and follow the instructions given, plus keep the law, statutes, and commandments, you cannot be a Nazarite.
Yeah, and they even, the joke is they even claim that they're from the tribe of Judah. Right? Yeah, we won't even go there.
We won't go there. Okay, so great. Verse 6.
Okay, so then the woman came and told her husband, saying, "The man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible." Although, remember, some people like to say that angels, they're them little cute little babies with the wings
I love
flying
that.
around, giving little gifts to somebody.
Great point, Alison. Because when people think of angels,
exactly.
And what did you say, that the little babies flying around? Well, no baby would be terrible to me, or have a terrible countenance.
No.
So this had to be some figure, some marveled figure that stood before her and spoke to her,
and was terrible.
Quite terrifying. It was terrible, so it must have been terrifying to even glimpse at.
Exactly. She's braver than me.
She's brave. She's very brave. Very brave. I mean, I know many men that would run.
Indeed.
I myself might run. Let's go. Yeah, good point.
Okay, so so a man of God came unto me, as she said, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told me his name. So she didn't inquire where he was from, and she didn't inquire what his name was. Right. But he said unto me, "Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and thou drink no wine, nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death." Then Manoah entreated the Lord. Okay, so now she's had a conversation with the angel, and now she's relaying it back to her husband. Her husband now, verse 8, is saying, the husband now, then Manoah entreats of the Lord and says, "Oh my Lord, let the man of God, which thou didst send, come again unto us and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born." So now he's imploring of God, "Please send him again, so that we together, my wife and I, can understand how to raise this child."
Yeah, that's typical men. Like, I'm like that as well.
Glory hunters.
I want a piece of this.
Yeah.
Like I'll be just like Manoah. I'll be like, so you're telling me the angel of the Lord went to you and gave you these instructions, and you saw the angel of the Lord. Okay, we'll call him again, because I want to see him now. It's a natural behaviour.
So true.
Because this is a great marveled feat. This is something that doesn't happen too often.
No.
But yeah, it's really interesting. Okay, so
Do you know what's so funny actually? I know it's totally off topic here, but when Elder Andrew gave a lesson the other night about the UFOs, and he was talking about the selfies with the phone. Imagine, like, if that was in these times, you know, Manoah's wife would have had her phone out. And wait a minute, and maybe Manoah would have been like, I need to get a shot too. Like,
oh, he'll be looking at it. Oh, okay, scrutinizing the picture, but
exactly,
yeah, 100%, 100.
That is hilarious. But anyways, right. So then Manoah entreated the Lord and said, "Oh my Lord, let the man of God which thou did send come again unto us and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born." And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, so he listened. And the angel of the Lord came again unto, not the man, he came unto the woman as she sat. So even though Manoah entreated of the Lord, send him again so he can teach us how to raise our child, God listened, but the angel did not go to Manoah. He went back to the woman.
Yeah. It could, I mean, we know women are very spiritually receptive. It could have been Manoah's mannerisms because...
Could be. Maybe something in his heart.
Yeah, because notice she said, I didn't inquire of him, he didn't tell me his name.
Yeah.
He just came, he delivered the message.
Absolutely.
And he went.
They do say the women are better listeners though.
And women are excellent listeners. Excellent listeners sometimes. Right? So, you know, whereas men, myself included, you know, we probably would have, I know me, I'm very inquisitive. I would have said, oh, okay, yeah, I got the instructions. So, yes, what's your name? So, where you from now? You know, I would have tried to engage a bit more.
Yeah, I hear that.
So, he intrigued, he inquired of the angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord came back again, but this time he still went back to the woman.
That's correct.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, so...
verse 10. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, you're right. That's true. Okay, so verse 10. And the woman made haste and ran and showed her husband.
Oh, she's a good woman.
Oh, that's true, because he came back again, he's gone back to the woman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the woman made haste and ran and showed her husband and said unto him, Behold, the man hath appeared unto me that came unto me the other day.
Right.
So she's gone back to her husband, she's not hiding it, you know, she's a good Israelite woman.
Yes, clearly. She wanted to show her husband that she's not crazy, she's not making it up.
Yeah, like, you know, you come back again, I'm so excited.
I guess this would have been the selfie. This would have been the live selfie moment.
She might have got ready that time.
Right. Yeah.
Caught off guard the first time, second time.
I'm ready. Yeah, I got you. I'm with you.
So the woman made haste and ran and showed her husband and said unto him, Behold, the man hath appeared unto me that came unto me the other day. And Manoah arose and went after his wife and came to the man and said unto him, Art thou the man that spakest unto the woman? And he said, I am. So Manoah was risen up and he's approached the guy and he's like, Are you the one that spoke to my wife?
I like the way he did that. I mean, I don't believe he did it like that.
I don't think so either.
I believe he more did it like this.
Yeah.
Like touching, yeah. Like this. Sorry. But
excuse me.
But the mannerism again.
Yeah.
Inquisitive. You know.
Very true.
We will find out Manoah was very inquisitive. But yeah, so he said he asked the question.
Mm-hmm. Are you the man that spoke unto the woman?
Yep.
And he said, I am. And Manoah said, Now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him? And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah, Of all...
I love this part.
Yeah, me too. This is like for me.
But this is me. The angel of the Lord gave the instruction to the woman.
Yeah.
Clear. You're the woman, the wife. You came back and you told the husband exactly what was said.
Anything that was said.
Which is probably why he went to the woman.
Yeah.
He went to you, right? Because not only would you listen better, being spiritually receptive, right? But you probably take the words word for word, not add nor subtract, right?
True.
But Manoah still wanted to hear the words from his mouth.
That's right. That's so true. That's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
We'll address it one day.
That's how we are. Anyway, yeah.
So, my bad, my voice is going through. Sorry. Okay, so now let the words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him? And the angel of the Lord said this to Manoah: of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware.
In other words,
It's
boom.
like, you know, go and talk to your woman. At the end of the day, I've told her. My voice is going to take up.
No, but you just said it. Go and talk to your woman. I've
Yeah.
given her the instructions.
Yeah.
What more do I need to say?
Exactly.
Right.
In fact, and he even goes on to say, she may not eat of anything. So even though he's inquired, you know, the angel is saying, do you know what? Go and speak to your woman. But he gives him a little bit of insight. He says to her, she may not eat of anything that cometh of the wine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe.
Right.
So he doesn't, you know, he doesn't detract from me.
He said it again. He said it again.
He kind of lets him in a bit. Lets
He
him in
said
the
it
club.
again. But he pointed out in the beginning, I've already told
Absolutely.
the woman, I've done my job, which was to tell the one bearing, which will bear the child. She's told you, but for argument's sake,
Yeah.
I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Right?
And just to remind you guys, if you're engaged in this lesson and you think that we're doing a great job, please throw up some sevens and some fire signs. We'd really appreciate that. Also, please add a comment.
And subscribe.
Oh,
Okay.
and if you want, just to continue, and if you would like to formally join us, there is a link in the bio. Okay, we'd be more than happy to have you.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that we're kind of done with that story.
I think there was a little
Is
bit more
there?
to it.
Okay.
Where are you? Verse
Oh yeah, there is, you know.
verse 14.
Yeah.
She may not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean. All that I commanded her, let her observe.
Yeah.
And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee. And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah, though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread, and if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto the Lord. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of the Lord.
Isn't that interesting? Because even from the beginning, his wife, she identified that.
She identified that.
So that's strange actually.
It's back to the spiritual receptiveness.
Exactly.
So sometimes we may just see the physical. We was having a discussion with teacher Jaden earlier in regards to sometimes you may see the physical, but you may not see the spiritual things happening behind the scenes. Or you may see somebody, but you may not really see them.
Yeah.
This is what happened here. Manoah's seeing a figure. He's seeing a man figure.
Yeah.
It's only afterwards when the man spoke, the more he revealed his true self, is when Manoah realized this is an angel of the Lord. Forgetting that his wife previously had said, do you remember where she said it? The woman, verse 10, I think, woman made haste and ran and showed her husband and said unto him, behold, the man has appeared unto me that came unto me the other day. And Manoah, I may have missed the part.
No, it's verse 6.
Verse 6. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, a man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God.
So it's like he looked different when he came.
Right.
Isn't it?
Possibly he did look different. Maybe he looked the same, but maybe Manoah wasn't
maybe his
ready.
eyes, that's true. Yeah. Because you're right, it's so right.
Maybe he wasn't
right.
ready. So, and imagine if Manoah just saw the man and the man came to Manoah with the message, and he's just thinking this is an average or an ordinary man.
True.
It may not have been taken seriously.
This is true.
So a lot of these things happen for a reason. The purpose, the order. The angel of the Lord went to the woman because the woman was ready to receive this message.
Yeah.
A lot of these things. What was the other examples we was going to go through? There was another example.
There was
Luke.
Yeah. I mean, okay, yes, we can use Luke in the sense that we'll go to it at some point. But just to give you a synopsis, like Luke 1, we talk about Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And we know that her and her husband, Zachariah, they're both God-fearing people living their life righteously. Elizabeth, is she another example of being barren? I believe she might be.
Was indeed.
Just bear with me a second.
Let's turn to it.
Yes, please.
Luke, chapter 1. Luke chapter 1.
From verse
from 27.
Yeah. Yes, actually, she was old. Yes, I knew it. Anyways, yes. All right. So this is another. Yes, I know. Right. So here's another example. So okay, another example of a woman that's barren, but again, she must be spiritually connected to our God. Like I said, her and her husband Zachariah, they were very good people. They kept all the ordinances of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
They were walking. So and they were both righteous and whatnot. But together they had no child. Because again, Elizabeth was barren.
Barren. Oh, it keeps popping up. Barren.
Yeah, barren, absolutely. And like for a woman, I mean, like, I'm not saying you've only got one job to do, but that's a very important job.
It's a huge important part of your job.
God created man, and He created man to tend over the beasts and whatnot, but He created women so that we could reproduce,
be fruitful and
multiply. That's correct. Yeah, and so it's almost like if you are unable to, if you're barren for a better word, then I mean I know sometimes it's not your fault, but in Israel it's a blessing to be able to give birth.
Amen. Absolutely.
A true blessing.
Absolutely.
So again, here's another example of a barren lady. She is old. She's stricken in years. I can tell you without going into the story that an angel he appears unto Zacharias and he tells him that his wife will conceive, and he's like, well, how can she conceive? She's old.
So this time an angel,
that's right.
The angel's name is Gabriel.
Yeah,
it was revealed this time.
Yeah.
He went to the man.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to Zacharias.
That's correct.
Zacharias was a priest.
He was
a priest, right? So he went to Zacharias. He didn't go to the woman this time. He went to the Zacharias, and he told Zacharias of what will happen to his wife Elizabeth.
That's correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is a different order now, right?
It is a different order.
What happened? Okay, interesting.
Okay, so he's gone in there and he's been given that revelation. Actually, at that time he was given that revelation, he was like doing God's work, like he was in a temple per se, right? So now, because he's in there for quite a long period, when he comes out, the people can see him and they're like, well, clearly something has happened to him, right? But he's been told inside there that his wife will conceive, she will have a child, and he will do many great things, and he has to be named John. Now, again, I mean, not even again, we know that the angel appeared unto Zacharias, but Zacharias didn't believe. Kind of like when we flip back to the story of Samson. Mm-hmm. Now, Manoah is like, he's really trying to entreat the Lord, like send him again. Let the angel of the Lord speak to me. But was he ready to receive that message?
He only actually declared him as the angel of the Lord once.
Well, yeah, once.
Once at the end when he said, offer your burnt sacrifice unto the Lord.
Yeah.
And then he realized, actually, this is an angel of the Lord.
Yeah.
Even though it was said by his wife before that this man had the appearance of an angel of the Lord.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah. All right, so just to reiterate, okay, so
Zacharias, so he was terrified of this angel that he saw. That seemed to be a common thing.
He was troubled.
That's a common thing today. He was terrified. He was troubled. He was communing with this angel, and the angel told him that.
The angel told him that that their prayer has been heard, and that their wife shall bear a son, and
that his wife shall bear him a son. Okay.
And thou shalt call his name John. John, sorry.
Did he believe?
I don't believe he did, because
he didn't believe.
Yeah,
okay.
And they were also given the same instruction, as in, drink no wine, no strong drink.
Again, this seems to be part of the current culture.
Absolutely.
Of Israel.
Absolutely.
Right? You're with child. Mm-hmm. Drink no strong drink. Drink no wine.
Yeah.
Eat no unclean food.
Yeah.
Seems to be a recurring culture.
Yeah.
A very important process.
Yeah.
Of bearing a child or carrying a child.
Absolutely, and like this wasn't no regular child. This child was they had to prepare this child, because as we know, this child would be preparing the way for Jesus, right?
The Christ, yes.
Jesus the Christ, sorry, my bad, yeah, right. And so when Zacharias heard this story, like he was like, well, how could this be, even though, okay, this is what you're telling me, how can we? This is like another story with Abraham and Sarah.
Almost the same.
Barren again.
And extremely old.
90 years old.
Extremely old, right.
Anyways, right. But so now Zacharias is like, he's querying. He's like, well, how can this be? And then Gabriel's saying to him, listen, like, I've been sent here to speak to you and to show you these things, yeah? Because you believe us not, from this point on, I'm going to close your mouth. And he literally closes his mouth.
He made him dumb.
And this is because he didn't believe the word of God.
Wow.
The woman now, she ran with it.
Wow. That's a key point. That's a key point. There wasn't much doubt with the woman.
No.
In that scenario, but he didn't believe.
That's right.
But to be fair, it's a hard thing to believe.
It is a hard thing to believe. That's like
they're stricken in age. They're very old, right? Stricken in age. I love that word, right? And the angel of the Lord is saying, "Yeah, but you're gonna have a son."
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna have a son.
Yep.
And at some point, he came out dumb. He didn't utter a word until the child was born.
Absolutely, that's a long time.
Oh, no, it wasn't even. It was
on the 8th day.
On the naming day.
Yeah, on the 8th day. On the 8th day. But
should we get to it? 27. Let's read a bit.
Okay.
Read a bit of it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
Or do you want to go slightly before? 25.
Okay. Okay, so in those days, that obviously that was prophecy that was fulfilled. Elizabeth did conceive, and she hid herself for 5 months, saying, "Thus hath the Lord dealt with me in the days wherein He looked on me to take away my reproach among men." Because, like I said earlier, to be a woman and not being able to give birth or have children, it's a reproach.
Yeah.
We see countless stories of it, like with Sarah and Hagar.
Yeah.
And look how she looks at her, the handmaid, she despised her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to use the word "it's a shame" because maybe that wouldn't be the correct word to use.
No, it's not fair, is it?
But it's not fair. But it's not. It's almost like I'm trying to think of ways of putting this in a nice way. Maybe I can't. But it's in most cultures.
Yeah, it's a blessing to have children.
It's a blessing to have children. It's almost a shame unto the family when either the man can't produce children or the woman can't produce children. It's really something that, it just shows every time a child is born. I mean, in Israel, in the Israelite nation, we do not condone abortions at all.
No.
Because we don't know what that child may become.
Absolutely.
But what we do know is that child is an Israelite. And going by the commandments, we don't kill our own. So we don't condone abortions in the Israelite nation. Every child is a blessing.
Absolutely. And
every child offered up in this nation is destined for great things. But anyway, I digress.
Okay, so we're going to go to 26?
Yeah, let's go to 26.
Okay. So, and in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto a city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary.
We all know this story.
We do.
Everyone knows this story, right? Virgin espoused to a man. Espoused meaning engaged. They haven't married. And when I say married, I mean the man has not known the woman. I'm not talking about a ceremony.
Yeah.
Right? I'm talking about a man and woman knowing each other. They do not know each other.
Yeah,
hence, the woman is referred to as being a virgin. Right.
Okay. So, and the angel came in unto her. So this time, the angel gave previous verses back. This angel went to Zechariah. He disbelieved. Now his mouth's sewn up. Now he's come back some 5 months later, and he's now approached Mary.
Right.
He's gone direct to Mary.
Right.
And really, he could have went to Joseph, but he didn't.
Right. Right.
But again, this is a unique situation because she is, even though she's espoused to Joseph, she is a virgin. She's untouched.
Right.
You know?
And I'm gonna. This is just my opinion. So Zacharias was a priest.
Yeah.
I believe he was of a high order, so he had a very important job because he was. I think even at the time of communing or talking to the angel of the Lord, he was within the altar or in the inner courts.
Yeah.
So he's very spiritual, very, very spiritual. So you could argue it makes sense for the angel of the Lord to have gone to a priest to commune with the priest. In this scenario, the angel of the Lord, Gabriel, went again, instead of going to the man, he went to Mary.
Right.
So again, is this another form of a woman's connection with the God of Israel, her spiritual side, her spiritual connection? Is this another example, would you say?
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so. I would say so. 100%. You know, I mean, we'll read on and let's see, because like even later on, as you know, as the story unfolds, like when the two, just to put clarity, I know we all know who Mary is, but Elizabeth and Mary are cousins, right? Just to put it out there.
Cousins.
So, but remember that we spoke about it earlier in the fact that, you know, later on in the scriptures, we know that the two meet and there's a serious...
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll
right.
get to that. We'll get to that. But yes, good point.
Okay, so, and the angel came in unto her and said, Hail, thou that art highly favoured, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou among women.
Oh, by the way, yeah, the angel came unto her and said, Hail. Not hell.
Yeah.
Hail. Yeah, we're just making sure, right? Okay. For those who aren't following with the Bible, but go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so thou art highly favoured, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou among women. And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and cast in her mind, what manner of salutation should this be?
Right.
Okay, because, you know,
Wow.
she probably was doing everything at home. Next thing she knows, Angel Gabriel appears and he's like, you are highly favoured and blessed among
Blessed
all women.
art thou among
and she's
women.
like, what? I'm just sweeping out here.
Humility,
Could have been.
modesty, virtues of that woman.
Absolutely. Okay, so, and the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favour with God. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus. He shall be great and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David.
Wow. Wow.
And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there shall be no end.
Wow. No end at all.
No end. Am I actually done? Yes.
Yeah.
Then said Mary unto the angel, How shall this be, seeing I know not a man? Like, how is this, how is this possible? How can I'm a virgin, I've had no relations with anybody, sorry. How is it that I am going to conceive a child, bring it forth, and he's going to be called Jesus? How is it possible?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, you know, it's not a light thing for you to be like in your home and an angel appears unto you. It's different, like in the other scenarios, like, you know, like with Samson's mum, she had a husband.
Right.
Right. Elizabeth's got a husband.
Right.
I'm not saying that Mary ain't got a husband, but she ain't got a husband per se.
She's not. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So of course she's going to be questioning it. Like,
yeah.
How is that possible?
It's not possible.
It's not.
But all things are possible with God.
That's right.
Right.
So, and the angel answered and said unto her, The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, and the power of the highest shall overshadow thee. Therefore also that holy thing which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God.
Wow.
And behold, thy cousin Elizabeth, she have also conceived a son in her old age, and this is the 6th month with her, who was called barren.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
For with God, like you just said, for with God nothing shall be impossible. And Mary said, Behold, the handmaid of the Lord, be it unto me according to thy word. And the angel departed from her. So, you know, he's come, he's given her a message. He's letting her know that her cousin's also with child, and that she shouldn't question anything, because with God, all things are possible.
You know what I like about the angels as well? And it's something that I need to kind of learn the skill.
Yeah.
They're to the point. They don't tally and dilly and dally.
This is so true.
They just, here's the message. Got it? Okay, bye. Gone.
Yeah.
Right? To the point. Right? If life was like that, if men and women were like that, life would be so much smoother. You know how many times I listen to people talk, well, maybe you're listening to me talk now, thinking I'm rambling. But you know how many times people, you hear them make their point and you're like, okay, I've got the point.
Yeah.
But they still want to make the point again. Okay, I have, but not the angels. They
Yeah.
make the point, you got the point, right, gone.
True. It's true.
Direct. Follow instructions to the T.
Absolutely. Okay.
Actually, we do know men like that. Our priesthood, to
True.
be fair.
True.
I like that. Yeah, okay. Our elder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to... And Mary said, Behold, the handmaid of the Lord, Be it unto me according to thy word. And the angel departed from her. And Mary arose in those days and went into the hill country with haste into a city of Judah, and entered into the house of Zacharias and saluted Elizabeth. So she's just been given the news, this information. She's left her home and she's gone to see her cousin.
She's following the instruction, because the instructions were to go visit your cousin.
Mm-hmm.
She's just given. She's just been given
Yeah.
a child, right? Just giving birth, right?
And it came to pass that when Elizabeth heard,
No, not giving birth, but she's with child.
Yeah, she just heard that her cousin's with child also. And she's like, well, first of all, how can that be? My cousin's old.
Yeah.
Secondly, what about my own situation?
Yeah.
This can't be right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even though I just spoken to the angel of the Lord, I need to go and see, like, because we're humans, like, you know, you can tell me something, but I still need to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it came to pass that when Elizabeth heard the salutation of Mary, that the babe leaped in her womb. And Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Ghost.
Wow. The salutation, so
just a salutation.
Peace be unto you.
Exactly.
That's what she probably said. Peace be unto you. And as she said those words,
the baby
inside Elizabeth
leaped.
And she was filled with the Holy Ghost. That's a connection.
That is a connection. It's a strong connection.
Strong connection.
Okay, and she spake out with a loud voice and said, Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. And whence is this to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me?
Mother of my Lord, wow. That had to be the Holy Ghost speaking.
It's true.
Because how would she know that was the mother of her Lord?
This is true.
How would she know that? Yeah.
I mean, she did know that her son would be doing great things.
Yeah, but she didn't know at the time that Mary was gonna give birth to
this is true.
What will be known as the Christ.
This is true, because they haven't even had that conversation yet.
Haven't.
Wow.
This is the spirit. This is the connection. This is the power of the spiritual connection. These are great examples of spiritual women. Great examples of spiritual women. Where are we? 44?
Yeah. For lo, as soon as the voice of thy salutation sounded in my ears, the babe leaped in my womb for joy. And blessed is she that believed, for there shall be a performance of those things which were told her from the Lord. Are we getting on to that? I think that's where we
I think that's fine, yeah.
Okay, so just to reiterate, we're just showing you here examples of like the Spirit working with the females, and also examples of the Spirit. Not that it is. I mean, it is like, you know, the Spirit. There is a connection with our men, of course there is, but it's just showing you that women are just a little bit more in some cases, not all cases, because I don't want to generalize, and you know, talk out of my.
That's for the audience. Say, this is why I brought this lady. This is why I brought this strong Israelite woman. You talk your talk, girl.
But I'm just saying that you know, it's quite evident in the Bible and through the scriptures that we've shown you that the women are highly spiritually receptive. You know, when there are instances where a message needs to be actioned, should I say, or it needs to be received, the angel goes directly to the woman. I'm not saying that the angel doesn't go directly to the men, it does, but that's not my story today. That's not our topic. I'm not talking about men and their spiritual connection. We are talking about women and their receptiveness.
Yeah, because, I mean, we have to make something really clear. This rhetoric about a woman's place. I don't know about other nations, and I won't speak for other nations, but what I will speak for is for the Israelite women. My mothers and my aunties and the women that I know in this nation, they're all strong, powerful teachers and women that have substance. Like I learn every day from all the women in the Israelite nation, worldwide ministries. We have women in high offices who deliver messages on a daily basis, who help create and help bring up this nation. These examples that we're given is to try and dissolve this rhetoric of a woman should just be in her home and be silent and not speak.
Absolutely.
It's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. These things need to be recognised, that a lot of the amazing things that's happened is due to women. We can't do this alone. The men of Israel cannot build a nation just filled with men.
Absolutely not.
We need women. So all these examples that we're given are of strong women, spiritual women, reasons why our women cover their heads, their humility, their honor. Alison's put in a sense, she's put their place, but not meaning their place as in quiet, silent, don't say anything.
No.
More of the hierarchy, as in the order of creation. You know, that's basically it. The woman has to be respected for all her achievements. Mary and Elizabeth. Mary probably was, would you say, Jesus' first teacher?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Elizabeth,
Absolutely.
would you say, was John's first teacher?
Absolutely. You know, we already know, well, I know anyways, but we know that, from the womb, the mother is the first educator.
I agree.
You're talking to your child, you're connecting with your child, So, yeah,
I agree.
that substantiates that, 100%.
Yeah.
What else could we add to that?
We were going to go quickly straight back to Corinthians.
Oh,
I think was going to finish off the parts with the men and their hair.
Oh, yes, you're right.
And then I think we can close. So where did we leave off? Should we read from 13?
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so verse 13. So judging yourselves, is it comely that a woman pray unto God uncovered?
So this is a question.
Yeah.
Does it make sense for a woman to pray unto God uncovered? Does it feel right? Is it comely? Do you believe it's right? With all what you've been taught, would you dare pray to God with your hair uncovered?
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, there are personal incidences where you might be in your home, you may be unclean, and you might need to pray. That's different,
right?
Because you're not. It all depends on what type of setting you're in. I'm not trying to pray to the congregation. I'm not trying to prophesy or teach. I'm not putting on a head side because I have to. I'm not wearing it because I cannot wear it. Right. So there are isolated incidents where I would have to do that, but the scriptures are very, very clear that we shouldn't really be praying to God without our head covered, uncovered. Sorry, my bad.
I agree totally.
We done?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, so doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man has long hair, it's a shame unto him? So nature in itself teaches you, men, that you shouldn't have long hair. It's shameful.
Right, now I know
that we spoke about the Nazarites.
Right, yeah. And remember they vowed a vow and they were given a specific job. Right? No razor was to go upon their head.
That's right. And
I also know that it's fashion now for men to braid their hair or even to have locks.
Indeed. Some men even put beads in their hair.
And even, no, I don't know about that. Right?
I've seen it.
So, and we're not saying, you should cut your hair. Let's be clear. This time, or this specific time, it wasn't fashionable for men to have braided hair or long hair. It was a man may have hair which is manageable, but I think he's more referring to like really long hair that might be touching your neck or on your back or something like that. So
no, definitely. You can have hair up to, but I'm sure up to his. Quite feasible.
Yeah, and if you locked your hair and it's neat, it's fine. I think it's we've all seen those individuals that are wearing their hair in some kind of strange style. Should I not comment? I won't comment. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. But basically, there's a time and a place, and everything. This time and this period, it's strange for a man to have really long hair. Mm-hmm. Likewise, I believe it's strange for a woman at this time and period to have really short hair. Yeah. Not to say that women don't have short hair and can't have short hair.
No, it's true.
It's a fashion. Nowadays, you can have short hair. It's just at that time it was. He's making an expression. He's expressing himself, and he's saying, it would have been strange for a woman to have short hair.
Plus it goes on to say in 15, but if a woman has long hair, if she has long hair, it is a glory to her. And we always know that expression that your hair is your beauty.
Yes.
So for a woman, I'm not again, we're not saying that short hairstyles are not nice. They're very nice, but we're just talking about this specific time period here, and it's talking about the fact that it's a glory for you. It's a glory unto you for you to have long hair, and that your hair is given to you for a covering. So if you cut it, then what hair have you got?
And there are nations.
There are nations
that cut their hair as low as mine,
yes.
females, and then put a wig on top.
Adjust it,
and and say they're covering their hair.
Absolutely.
Well, I've never heard anything so stupid in my life.
And I'm pretty certain we won't find any of those women
in the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. Women, keep your hair. So, okay.
Oh dear. Okay, so 16. But if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of God. Now in this that I declare unto you, I praise you not. I'm sorry, I praise you not yet, that you come together not for the better, but for the worse. Am I leaving it there?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we summarize? Because I think
so.
we've been given. We've only got about a few minutes, so we can summarize and.
Okay, but I just wanted to point out before we summarise. If you remember, there's a story. Okay, so I know we didn't quite go there, but in terms of women covering their heads for specific reasons and so forth. I know that in the Bible there was a particular story where, or there's maybe one or two examples where they show women in the Bible who do cover their hair, but those women they
had a job.
Yeah, that's right. They were ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night.
Let's go with ladies of the night.
I like that. I like that terminology. Yeah, lady of the night. I like that terminology.
No, ladies, and so
harlots.
Harlots. Just call it what it is. Harlot. Yeah.
So okay, that's a great point. So nothing's wrong with it if that's what.
That's your bag.
Whoever's out there who chooses to dress like that. Yeah. But it's just not the custom of the Israelite Israelite woman.
That's fair.
Also, the hair. There's nothing wrong with the Israelite woman showing their hair, as long as you wear it in a modest way. But the hair is a part of your beauty. But to bring it back to the title of the women and their spirituality, we also have situations with what are they called? Nuns, who also. Walk around
in their habits. They call them habits, don't they?
Oh, is that what they call them?
Yeah,
right.
Actually.
Very similar again. And again, you can mistaken them for also being modest and humble and virtuous women and spiritually connected, but that has nothing to do with your spirituality. No. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you. I believe the most suppressive establishment is the Christian establishment or the Catholic establishment when in regards to women. Yeah. Even more so than Islam.
True. You think?
Even more so. I personally believe so because there's so. I was even told they're not really even supposed to read the Bible.
Oh wow.
Right. So that doesn't even make sense to me. But I can't understand why they would do that.
Well, yeah, because
if you read the Bible, you realise the truth, but then you stop doing foolishness.
Yeah, that's right.
Hopefully.
That's right.
But yeah, so women, I think this whole rhetoric of the spiritual aspect of a woman is to just stay home and make babies and support a husband. It's part. Yeah, a woman is to make children. A woman is to support her husband. Yeah. But providing a husband
exactly is providing for her.
Is providing for and working her for the God of Israel.
That's right. That's right. And also, just to bring it back as well, because we touched on it earlier, in terms of with the order of things and so forth. Yeah. We can't forget that. Yes, women may be more spiritually receptive, but as a we all know that there is a hierarchy of things, and we know that as a man and a woman, we need to support each other.
Yeah.
We need to love each other, and we need to, we need to just work together in serving our God, doing all that we can to uplift him and build his house.
Amen. Amen. I agree totally. So I don't think there's anything else to cover really.
No, I don't think so.
Alison, that was a pleasure. That was a pleasure. This, you know, I think we supped together.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we kept the Passover together.
We did.
And I knew you would be the perfect person to deliver this lesson. And I knew it because, you know, the fire's still burning in you. You know, this lady, believe it or not, I won't give her her age. I won't give you guys her age, right? But I won't even go there.
Submit yourself to me.
But she looks amazing, and you have to give her all the credit because being in this nation for so long and working for our God, it's a huge thing. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the women in the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, and for all their hard works and efforts that they do, and for all the children that have come forth from our women and our men. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess on behalf of all women in the nation, I'm grateful that that our men do appreciate us.
We do,
because there are some nations that don't do that. And,
no.
They have their women being subservient and just, walking in front and then leaving their wife behind like 5 steps and all that folly. He does that.
Yeah, that's foolishness. I mean, 5 steps is too much. Maybe 2 steps.
maybe 2 giant steps.
Yeah. I'm playing. I wouldn't dare. I couldn't dare tell a woman, an Israelite woman, just stay there. Let me walk my 5 steps. Now follow me. No, I wouldn't dare do that.
Yeah, first of all, she wouldn't even wait.
She'll be probably walking in front of me and looking at me like, can you hurry up?
Exactly.
Wouldn't dare.
Or she might just call it Uber.
Or she might even call it Uber. Yeah. Say I'm walking too slow. So we really hope that this lesson was fruitful.
We did.
It was edifying. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries.
Yeah, and remember, if you want to formally join, there is a link in the bio.
There is a link in the bio. The website is www.israelitenation.com. I repeat, it's www.israelitenation.com. I always tell people, I always start with, you've made it. If you're here watching this,
true.
You've made it.
This is true.
Continue the journey, right? Because you're never too old to learn, or you're never too young to learn. Just keep going. And I hope to see you next week.
Yeah.
So with that, I say peace. And hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
I'm blessed. If you don't believe that I'm blessed, take a look at me and see I'm blessed. I praise the Most High. I serve till I die. No word of a lie. I'm blessed. If you don't believe that I'm blessed, take a look at me and see I'm blessed. I praise the Most High. I serve till I die. No word of a lie. I'm blessed.
So blessed to be the people, the church without the steeple. We don't worship dead in altars. Never throwing the towel, God of Israel in our corners. Smashing the devil with a hammer, Bible is our power.
I'm having dreams like now, nightmares like wow. Gun went plow, bullet missed me like how.
Israelites the match, Christ is the fire. The King of Israel ain't nobody higher than the God I serve. You deserve to observe the laws written for your cause. Your faith needs work hard, the saints applaud. Some born poor, some born very lucky, but I'm born blessed with riches, I'm very happy.
I'm blessed. If you don't believe that I'm blessed, take a look at me and see I'm blessed. I praise the Most High. I serve till I die. No word of a lie. I'm blessed. If you don't believe that I'm blessed, take a look at me and see I'm blessed. I praise the Most High. I serve till I die. No word of a lie. I'm blessed. Look at me, what don't you see? It's not that I don't have the finer things, it's vanity. I'd rather be swear, much more than diamond rings.